Hello, everybody. So I saved what I thought would be the uh, best page to start off post witch period for tonight, and this is the actual very first page. Some of the other pages are kind of spoiler heavy from the early part of the book. I already inked page 2 and 3, which are pretty ballsy. And probably I still got white paint effects to do and everything, but so this is actual page 1 for Savage Sword of Conan. This is going to be in issue 2 next February, I believe, March, or I can't remember the exact dates. But so yeah, so this will be Jim Zub wrote this story for me. We sat down together, did layouts and everything for it. There's going to be so much black ink on this page. I'm only going to ink live for about an hour or so, depending on any time and everything. Well, I can actually. Can I show? Yeah, here we go. So, because actually, let's go through the whole thing. So, just by comparison to the size of my hand, this should be pretty clear to be a pretty large sheet of Bristol. This is your standard size comic page, and let's go this way. So yeah, so this is a little bit bigger than your regular comic page artboard. This is I used to do like a weekly fun strip. I did a little strip about God, not Baldur's Gate. The other one with the live action role playing game. Anyway, so because it's actually coming back at 8.5 by 11 Savage Sword of Conan magazine size. So I have the Savage Sword of one. I have one flopping around my studio. There it is. There it is. It's one of the reprints from the Conan saga. So beat up. But they're coming back this size. These are incredibly hard to find. These size magazines used to be everywhere, but now it seems like everyone realized they have value. So I found this one like totally ripped up, so I immediately grabbed it. Couldn't remember what was in it. Had some classic. I think this is Smith Aikens art. Oh, it's all Barry. So the first Red Sonja piece, and trying to think of it. Like there's because they're reprinting the comic. The Mirrors of Karadakad, which I think is a ripoff on a Cull story. So this is John Bishima inked by Sal and John Severin, embellishers. So I guess layouts. Yeah, there's some stuff in there that looks like kind of rushed John stuff. Yeah, that's a John Severin face. But yeah, so everything's going to be this size. The former editor wanted to do newsprint if they can get it. I'm hearing stories that newsprint's incredibly hard to get in the volume needed to do a magazine like this, because at the time that this was coming out, there was like weekly newsprint, real estate mags and auto mags and all sorts of like things just for traders and everything. So there's just a ton of newsprint produced. Now it's not the case anymore. There's not enough newsprint produced anymore because everything's for boxes and stuff. This is John and Neil Adams' Continuity Studios, I believe. Oh no, it's actually Neil. Oh my God, I have this in my studio and I couldn't even remember it correctly. But it's beautiful, Neil Adams art. I mean, look at that. Oh my God, how many? 4, 7, 10, 13 panels on that page. 4, 8 panels on that page. Look at the panels on these pages. Oh my God, who does that anymore? Look how detailed. Here, this would be like a double spread these days. This little, 9-panel grid, 2-panel wide bit. God, so gorgeous. But anyway, so this artboard, this oversized artboard, scales down to this better. So it's the same reduction percentage as from regular comic artboard to a comic book. This is the scale from full-size artwork to this with a bleed. Um, Before, I think what they did back for the Savage Swords days is they drew to the full edge of what would normally be reduced down, and they only reduced it slightly. So yeah. And I think what's happening is for the black label stuff that gets printed in a weird format, I'm pretty sure that gets a lot of the artists working there. Look at that. Oh my God. This is more recent Barry Windsor Smith in comparison with that lovely romantic line quality. But we're actually, as far as I know, we're doing bleeds, and there's an idea towards doing color reprints later. Look at this, it's so beat up. I should really get a good set of Conans.
I'm not sure.
I don't think I asked the computer living in my studio anything. Anyway, so this is a big piece of paper. Here's everything after a light box. Normally, I like the light blue print, but this is too big for my printer. I could buy an oversized printer, but it's like $1,000. If I end up doing like, Savage Sword a lot, then I might invest in it. But this is too big for my paper, too big for my printer. These are my layout signs. So I specially designed these layouts for this scale, this format. So these are how I do my layouts on blue paper. I scan them, and because I know that this area enlarges up to 10 inches by 14 something, what I did for light boxing, that's what this thing here is. If I could actually get paper to sit. Let me see if I can turn this on, freak you guys out. This is my light box. So what I did is I scanned that, and I printed out on 11 by 17, not 11 and a half. We get that piece of paper off the back here. And I taped it in position on the back of the board. And I light box it. So it's drawing twice, which I guess is okay. It allows me to get a little more comfortable with the stuff before I get into it. I think I'm going to be inking up there, but I'm going to probably pull the sheet down. After I look at it, I'm not used to inking over graphite anymore. I'm so used to having the blue blue ink from the printer everywhere now. But yeah, so I'm inking over pencil. I'm not going to lighten the pencil. I normally lighten it a bit with a kneaded eraser, roll it over, and it pulls up a lot of the graphite. I want you guys to be able to see this. So I'm just going to start inking on this. So that's the process. So I'll probably do Conan again next week, because I'll be into some pages that are more flashbacky and stuff. There's part of me that wants to just dive into ink in this panel right here, because there's some stuff. I did some test panels on some other paper just to get used to it, but part of me that kind of wants that arm kind of smushed in close to his head and all the shadows and everything, because I don't think you're not going to understand until you actually see this printed. But this is almost going to be a solid black page. There's going to be lots of air for texture and everything, but it's going to be edge to edge, lots of black ink. And in fact, there might be a lot of rubber stamps on top of everything just to darken everything down for that. I just hit the camera again, didn't I? So yeah, yeah, I know I should probably start inking up here and then just work my way down and see how much I can do in an hour. But I really want to start there. But I'm going to start up there. Grab my usual tools of the trade. Just move some stuff over. Start with the one. Damn, I keep hitting the camera today. Probably because it's like up higher. There you go. Hopefully I won't hit it as much there. It's gonna be more in shadow, so everything's gonna dive off into shadow on this side of the face here. It's gonna be lots and lots of scribbles on these first few pages. It's gonna be such a dark sequence. Probably can use some solid blacks dropping into here. I really just want to build up the gradients of values before I start adding blacks. I know what I'm doing on the other pages. You can look at all the graphite smudge here. Look at this. Oh my God, I never have to deal with this nowadays. Gonna have to learn how to deal with graphite smudge all over again. It's been so long. I mean, I think maybe at cons I would have to deal with graphite smudge. But God, I haven't done significant cons in years now. I want to get some hair happening here. So yeah, I guess I should talk about Witchtober, now that it's over. It's over. Oh my God, it's over. We did pretty good, I think, all things considered. And all things being considered, that we're in a down economic phase. No one really knew what the hell I was going to get out of the witches. So getting, I think it was like 265 and 2,300, or sorry, 22,000. I think that's pretty darn good. And I'm generally pretty happy with everything that's come from that. So I have to do a meeting with the Zoop people to find out how much they're hands-on in terms of with production and everything, and how much I have to do on my own. Get that sorted, and then we're off to the races. One of the other things I didn't talk about during the campaign, but so I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to have something that I'd promise and not be able to deliver on. I had a Kickstarter I did like 10 years ago, and I immediately, I always have to be careful because I signed an NDA as part of the legal agreement. I signed a deal with a company that I feel dealt with me in bad faith, but since I think I can say that because I'm not saying their name, which is what I'm not allowed to talk about with the NDA, and ended up having to enter a lawsuit, which ate up everything. That was my first real legal experience. I didn't know that could happen, but that's what happened, which is why I'm like seriously adverse to the idea of ever having to deal with court cases or anything ever again, because it is insanely expensive. Basically, I just wanted to get out of the agreement to let those people do the fulfillment, and they sued, saying that I was costing them agreed to money, which ended up eating up everything. A few years later, I managed to recoup about a little around 2,500 in terms of just savings, and I locked in with what I thought was a good deal for printing, and they were going to sit on it for a while, let me hold on to it, and then the broker essentially went out of business with my deposit, and that was that. I think I got like $300 back at the end of the day. So this is a cursed project, but because Coven did so well, I can actually finally get this thing off my back. So it made enough for me to turn around and say, I can print, despite all the massive amounts of increases in inflation, especially more so now because of COVID and all the crap that we're dealing with since then. I can actually print that book. So on top of like getting Coven out, which is going to be, of course, the faster priority, I will in fact get Midnight Harvest out. So that is a massive weight off my mind. So that is just all gold. That can actually essentially get rid of my first experience at crowdfunding. That was clearly I had no idea what I was doing. But now I can actually I have the financial wherewithal to like get that sorted as well. But yeah, so the plan is now get Coven done as quickly as possible. They've given me a little bit more information about what I need in terms of like getting the book out and everything done and everything. So that's good, but I need some more final details in terms of like, okay, if I turn the book around, because I mean all the art's done. I want to tweak the cover a little bit. I want to do some design stuff, but the book is for all intents and purposes done. So it shouldn't take that long. So I want to get that out of the way as quickly as possible, and so I can turn around and say, okay, it's going to take this long to print the book. and then it's there. And immediately, as soon as I can, throw in my other book into the printer as well. But there's also news around the witches. The witches, I think, have proven successful enough to do more with them. So also on the agenda now is a collection of witch stories. I've had a bunch of witch stories brewing in my head ever since I started drawing these last year. And so I got already, I think, about 8 stories. I wouldn't say written, but plotted out. And I have the reason why the stories exist, why I want to tell those stories. Those are all put together now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start serializing those on my Patreon. Witchy Wednesdays are now going to be, not December, but starting in January. Witchy Wednesdays are going to be the first Wednesday of every month, and that's why I'm going to share some of the witch work that's been done so far. And so that's that bit of news. And that's what we're going to aim for is October next year. We're going to have another campaign, this time for the collection of witch stories. And so hopefully the audience is still there for that. All the artwork that did not, if you missed out on artwork that you wanted from this campaign, well, it's not going to be available until like October next year. So people are going to have a second swing for that brass ring next year. I'm sure there'll be other pieces of art in the interim that'll go for that. God, I hope he looks like he's all wrapped up. That's the goal here, to make him look like he's all wrapped up. So there's going to be another witch book. It's going to be next October. It's going to be more comics. And again, if that's successful, here I am counting my chickens before they're hatched. If that book ends up being successful, there will be the following October, which I guess I'm just going to start calling Witchtober from now on. There will be an actual graphic novel, a complete, all the world building I'll do in the book next year, all the cute little witch stories I'll be doing next year are going to pay off. I'm going to do with actual main characters, supporting characters, plot, everything going for like over 60 some odd pages, probably closer to 80. Somewhere in there, I'm going to shift how I do my sketchbooks. Like there was my very first sketchbook was one of the reward options. I think we sold out either 9 or all 10 that I put up there, and I was due for like a second printing. But looking through my Kim Jong-il sketchbook collections, and in relation to like what other books I have, I think I want to change the scale on my sketchbooks. So that sketchbook I did, I believe it's like a 64-page sketchbook. And which is, I think a good size. But I think about the Kim Jong-il books I have. I want to do some cross-hatching here. And I love those books. I just love like I have bookmarks in them from every time I'm like looking at different stuff. And I think sketchbooks should be bigger. I mean, because it's just a big collection of art. So what I might do is the second printing might still be called Idle Hands, but I'm going to jump it from 64 to maybe 200 plus pages. And I might do that on Zoop as well. It seems to be a really, really smart way to deliver material without dealing with bookstores initially, who wouldn't know how to carry that. I mean, I don't really see a lot of of the bookstores out there carrying artist books as much. It seems to be almost like a specialty aspect. So, and also couple that with my planning to do fewer and fewer conventions. That's my door. Can you hear that bell? No idea. Probably trying to sell something. Just doing some, this stuff doesn't really cover opaquely, but I can use it to, actually, you know what I should probably do? We're doing white paint. This is me not working with graphite forever and ever. Get that graphite out before I start throwing the white paint down. It means I don't have to, this is also why I didn't do any white paint on the other page. Because it's like I didn't do any cleanup on it yet. I do different layers of white paint on this. Got a whole bunch of different types of white paint to add to this. Jelly pens. And hard to believe, but that is just the start of the weird levels of how dark this page is going to be. Let me give an idea here. This is my really old beat up Posca. I might actually be running out of ink. Or paint, I should say. So I can use little bits of stubs and everything, all right. Let's try this one. There we go. Nice matte black I'm so used to getting from Posca. There's also there's gonna have to be some rubber stamping on top of that. But I gotta find my black Sharpie. Here we go. Big black Sharpie. This is the best part about I find that this works even better than a brush for me for like leaving partial areas of black. No, not partial areas. Letting more white flow through the black areas. No, I got other big, thick black Sharpies and Poscas as well. It just how happens that I must be live for all of them to start dying off. So I can stroke across and get this nice dry brush feel, which is great. And then I can go over top, and with that dry brush there, and I scatter like really sloppy brush strokes all over, it just looks like there's like just this natural texture that gets built in. And I'm going to have to do this over all of this stuff. That's all going to be that type of texture going everywhere. And there'll be captions and stuff everywhere to break that up too. Might even throw some white splatter on top of this when it's done. Then I have to scan it and piece it together. Oh my God, that's a flashback. Scanning in two pieces back when everyone had 8.5 by 11 scanners, not tabloid scanners. How are we doing? 7:55. All right, you know what? I might be able to get 2 panels done tonight, but in case I don't, what I'm trying to do is bring this panel to as much of a finish as possible. Part of that is making sure I get the right amount of noise added to it. Probably should get rid of the light box while so I'm not struggling with some of that. Goes face here a bit. And I might do some white paint on top of that as well. Just want to get across that he's like in deep in that panel before I finish it off. I love my rubber stamps. Where's the pen I was using? There. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to call it Idle Hands 2 or just refer to it as Idle Hands 1. What I kind of want to do is I want to take the 64 pages that are in it, and I got at least 200 pages worth of sketchbook material, at least. I'm thinking it's like I did over 100 pieces for the food bank project. I got a whole bunch of stuff that was initially going to be a watercolor sketchbook. I'm thinking what I might do is I can put multiple images per page. It doesn't have to be one image per page. And I end up with like a 200-page nice chunk of a book. Now, it won't have the first sketchbook in it, but it'll have like, 150 more pages of stuff, but even more so than just 150 pages, if you know what I mean. It just seems that might be the way to go. Instead of letting like do it every 2 years, like do a 150 to 200 page sketchbook every 2 years, instead of one every single year. That wow, covered in eraser shavings too. This is such a flashback. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so you can see like, is that Conan wrapped in bandages or something? What? That can't be right. I can scribble over top, change some of the whites and stuff here. Oh, hang on. There we go. A little bit of light happening up there. Shouldn't be, not where this is, but there you go. That looks pretty brutal. All right, see how brutal I can be with his hand here. Oh, you know the sequence that's coming up in this book. I might drawing some of it. I'm not entirely sure what I can get away with in terms of spoilerage. I mean, it's Conan, so you know he's going to live. Knock on wood. I mean, they could pull a James Bond with him, but yeah, let's kill Conan and Savage Sword too. Didn't they do a Death of Conan thing at Marvel? Isn't that the honestly? It's like yeah, let's kill him. That's never been done. I didn't really. I mean, I loved the art. Let's see here we go. Yep, full pages. His brown wasn't pulled out of his nostrils when they mummified. Oh, brain. Sorry. Yeah. Hey, Ian. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there. He's not necessarily mummified as much as wrapped up. Because Conan's such a problem. You always want to wrap him up. Got these fingers are gonna get all beat up looking. Get me to my Joppa. That'd be kind of. I mean, didn't they end up doing like so much modern stuff with Conan, which honestly didn't work for me. Um, I mean, it works nice as like. I mean, they did the whole, what if Conan was stuck in the modern age? I think he ended up. God, I got in a fight with Wolverine. I think it was a draw, but I think he killed Captain America. God, my memory's so vague on that stuff. Conan killing Captain America because he's Conan, of course. And at one point, he was just that big a deal at Marvel. Marvel really, it drove Conan to the ground. They didn't know what they're doing, so of course they immediately try and like. At one point, didn't they have like some like a Rob Liefeld clone trying to draw Conan? It was like so bad, so bad. Let's get this pinky there. Need to get some dark shapes around this so I can actually get the scale working properly. I'm gonna destroy this brush and this paper. This is the vellum finish Strathmore. I like the tooth on it. Get 3 here. It's weird how Jim and everyone else involved desire, and this is interesting. I mean, it's like there was some real deep understanding in what to pull out of Marvel by bringing Jim from that weird Marvel run, which did almost no one any good. I mean, honestly, the weird thing is I was supposed to draw a Conan Tarzan crossover at Dark Horse. And Dark Horse kept me and the writer waiting, saying it was going to happen, but not yet. We have to wait. And then suddenly we find out the reason why we weren't able to start is because Marvel had the license. And there was nothing we could do about it. I mean, that was it. That was game over. Conan was at Marvel. And since Dark Horse had the Tarzan license, and I don't think there was any incentive to give Marvel a right off the bat slam dunk. And I don't even know if Marvel would have cared to do Tarzan Conan. They just wanted to milk Conan as a license as much as they could, which is what they did. They put the obvious people on Conan initially. There was some really beautiful art, Ron Garney on it. I mean, Ron Garney and Conan seemed like a no-brainer. But it didn't really seem to, it did nothing for me after that. God, I hope this hand will read as pushing through dirt when I'm done. I think that's going to read as a hand. Might have to go back. I want some white paint on top of that, but it's generally reading as a hand, I think. Let me Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go in and do some highlights on top of that. Not an issue. See if there's any chat. Yeah, I liked the initial Kurt Busiek run. Mignola did a really nice 2-part story. He did some covers and he wrote an arc. And when they hired Brian Wood, I mean, I was excited for Becky Cloonan to draw Conan because I thought she was a perfect choice. But those stories were terrible. They were just so terrible. I couldn't believe they had approved, like, anyone approved those stories. It was just abysmal Conan. It didn't really do anything for me as a reader. I'm a lifer. I'm a Conan lifer. I've been reading Conan since I first came across that one in the fantasy section in my Cole's bookstore growing up. In the mirror, that still raises a hand. Still raises a hand. I'm gonna have to do some white paint effects in there. Yeah, the Dark Horse stuff just had nothing. Laverne Kanzierski wanted me to do a Conan story, and I said, sorry, no, a Tarzan story, and I was kind of like, yeah, Tarzan on his own. I was never really a big fan of, the whole. I mean, he was a colonizer. I mean, it's like, and the bone deep racism and the Burroughs stuff. I mean, you really can't get away from it. Sadly, I mean, it's there. But when he said Tarzan, I said, what would probably sell in this market, and this is pre-Marvel getting Conan, would be Tarzan Conan. Take the 2 pulp characters that Dark Horse have, and we finally get to do Conan versus Nazis. And I have to think that Conan versus Nazis would sell. Although it may not sell as well now because there's a lot of people who identify too well with Nazis. And what are you going to do with those people, right? So many of them are sadly Conan fans. Probably going to go through with some white paint and probably outline the panels as well to create a little bit more visual chaos in the mix here. Yeah, Conan versus Nazis would be good. Considering how strangely egalitarian Conan was in the stories, him running into like a whole bunch of like supremacists of any sort would be kind of cool. That type of racism is a comparatively modern invention. So it would be kind of cool. It's like, you know, you got a problem with black people, really? I mean, Robert E. Howard would understand it, but I don't think Conan would. I mean, the Romans didn't really have an issue with racism either. I mean, it's like as long as you were following Roman law, they were cool. I'm drawing off the page. I'm drawing here at the bottom. Drew nostril. Um, I have to draw some details out from the hand there. Problem with these jelly pens is they'll actually pick up some of the ink sometimes. And then they'll just move around this gray ink a bit, and it's not good. Can you see the finished week next week? Yeah, Blonde Road Officials, Hannibal is Black from Northern Africa. Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, I'm doing most of it this week. We're at past 8. I think I'll do a little bit more work on this middle panel here, and then I'll call it a night. A lot of things like, see this hand here? The hand's about 80% there, I think, and the reduction, it looks okay. But for print, I have to look at it from a distance at my mirror in my studio. I think it needs a little bit more structural work in the black and white, and then I'm going to be doing some splatter and stuff. So I want to leave that for later. So I'm going to work on this panel here. And yes, again, just to reiterate, yes, I will happily, unless they come back and say don't show that page. I will be showing this page next week. Trying to think what else I'm probably also going to show. I'm going to be doing the. I have to do the tip-in sheet for all the remarks and signatures for the witch book. I might actually do that on stream as well. Sketch it out for idea of sketching out for next week. Right now, so it would probably be some of that and maybe some more Conan next week. I think that's I think that's what I'm going to be showing. There wasn't something else I was supposed to walk through this week, was there? I mean, we did monsters last week. No one brought up anything for me to dig into next week or this week. Put that like that. So I want knuckle. Get that back there. Just gonna go like that a little bit more. Like that. Knuckle. All right, cool. That's gonna be catching. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I just didn't want to let that go just quite yet. So much scratching dirt and scratching dirt. Now, considering how used I am to like just slathering everything with like lots and lots and lots of lines, this is still a lot of lines for me. I have to start taping this down shortly. The way it's curling up on the top here is pretty egregious. How are we doing? Hey, 10, I'll give it a few more minutes. Let me do some of the dry brush stuff here around this panel. And I just headbutted the camera again. The page from moving too much. Dry brush into the panel a bit. So I can, if I'm doing this, I can even just let the panels kind of go away and let this, I can probably let this hand just completely keep going into the darkness there. So I might actually want to draw fingertips. I get too close to the panel border otherwise. And I just won't draw them. I just obliterate them and let them come back here. Comics, such a flexible art. Look at that graphite. Keep an eye out for really cheap hand wipes on sale, because I use them purely just in my studio to clean this type of crap up, and they dry really quickly. So oh, look at that, I got some ink in my hand. I didn't smudge it anywhere important. Look how filthy that is. That was on my hands, my friends. Just because I'm dealing with graphite again. Oh, noes. Don't want to immediately dive onto the paper with damp hands. Oh, I can use this old piece of cardboard here as a shield. Man, I don't need to promote my Kickstarter anymore, or my my Zoop anymore. That's a bit of a relief. I mean, that's weirdly exhausting. I always feel that you have to be selling something. I honestly do not know how salesmen do it. I don't want to feel like I'm always selling something, which makes it terrible to be an artist, because technically I should always be selling, always be closing, to do the whole Glenn Ross thing. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't watched it yet, I've caught, what's this? Second place steak knives. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry, yeah, took a second. If you haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, It's actually pretty darn good. I was kind of hoping it would be a done in one series, but they're aiming for multiple seasons, which is always a bit of a crapshoot with Netflix. So who knows if we're actually going to get that. But I enjoyed the first season quite a bit. Thought the voice acting was pretty good. Thought the writing was pretty good. I don't know how historically accurate it is. Anytime you have anything that sort of implies ninjas, you kind of go, so as I understand it, ninjas didn't really exist. They were a fairy tale, if nothing else. No, it's along the lines. It's set in the Edo period. She's a half white samurai woman pretending to be a man. She's immediately assumed to be a demon because she's got blue eyes. Um, so she wears kind of like blue blockers, which I think is hilarious. Honestly, she's wearing like blue blocker specs to hide her blue eyes. I don't know if they were like knowingly making that joke or it just. I mean, maybe that's what people did back in the days. They wore like amber lenses to hide their blue eyes. But it was fun. It's fun. It has some great action sequences, good fight scenes for animated stuff. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yes, I did. Probably outline some of these rocks a bit more. Get across that they're floating rocks out here. It's a little graphic, but I can let it slide. Maybe I'll do something on top of it as well. Yeah, those aren't bothering me at all. All right, so all I got left to do is this big panel here. Well, it's not all I got left to do. I got like a whole bunch of corrections and stuff. But this, you can see this big smudgy face right here. Got kids playing in the stairwells. They're screaming away. If I was an old man, I'd be really upset with that, but I'm not an old man. I just feel like it at times. Oops. All right, I'm going to have to take a little dinner break because I just realized I did not eat dinner tonight, and then I'm going to finish this page. Thanks, everyone. Sue. Yeah, Mary Sue. All right, there we go. Glad for everyone stopping by to see me work on the Conan page. Again, this is the first page from the Conan book. I'll share it next week. It'll probably actually be flatter next week because right now it's look at that curve. That's from that paint going on wet. If I did that with a Sharpie, it would still curve a little bit, but the alcohol wouldn't cause the paper to bow as much. If I did it with actual black ink, it would curve even more. But this stuff is matte. It's not shiny, even though that you can see some shine there. It's not as shiny as regular ink, which I need to be doing so much stuff. I am very much stocked up in black ink, which is going to be glossy and harder to scan. Sorry, there we go, Speedball. Yeah, a lot of very dark pages this issue. You guys have a great week. Next week, I'll either be doing another Conan page, but I'll definitely show this one, or I'll be doing some witch stuff, like I promised for the book, the Remark signature page. Everyone have a good night. Stay safe. Have fun all week, and tune in next Sunday. Same bat time. Same bat time. Same Conan channel. I play all comics equally. Take care.